What's up, everyone? This is Micah hanging out here in the Secret Studio, but more importantly, it is time for Maya's latest news to keep you in the groove. And Maya, I believe we have a special guest on the phone. Who do we have on the phone?
Benji, Aflalo.
Very nice, Benji.
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. How are you?
Oh, very nice. We're doing great. How about you?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, Maya, take it away. What's your first question?
Okay. So who or what got you started in acting?
Well, acting specifically, when I was a kid, I was in a lot of the plays after school and whatnot. And so that was sort of it. And then I did that through high school. And then, when I decided to go to college, I sort of let go of acting for a little bit while I went to school.
Oh, nice. So you took some time off to study at college, and then you ended up coming back to acting?
Well, after I finished college, or towards the end of college, I knew I wanted to do stand-up comedy, so I started doing that. And while I was open to acting, I was more focused on being a stand-up and comedy in general.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any upcoming projects?
Outside of Alone Together, nothing super active that I'm doing right now. We just finished shooting the second season on Friday, so today's sort of like my first weekday back in the real world with more free time. So I've thought about maybe doing some writing work here and there, but mostly I just really want to take a break for at least a few weeks. But I don't know. I've never written a feature film before, so maybe I'll try to do that, but I might not be good at it because I've never done it.
Well, you won't know it till you try, that's for sure.
Yeah, but that's the plan.
Very cool. Nice. Sounds like a good thing, because I know that films can be very, very hectic and draining when you're in the middle of them, but it's nice to take a little bit of a break in between things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there an actor or actress that you hope to work with one day?
Let's see. There's so many good ones out there, and just working on the show the last 2 seasons, I've gotten to work with so many awesome professionals and talented people. Be hard for me to pick one. I mean, yeah, there's so many talented people. I think I'd probably have to keep it more specifically to comedy to answer that question. And I don't know. I really like Sarah Silverman. I like Bob Saget. I generally like all the SNL people who come out of there, all the, Will Ferrell and Bill Hader and Fred Armisen. And, SNL produces so many funny people. But in general, there's just so much talent out there, and I feel so new to everything that every time I get to work with someone who has a lot of experience, it's new and exciting for me. So that's why it's sort of hard to name one person.
No, that's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I love Bill Hader. He's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's funny. I'm a big fan of all those SNL people.
Yeah.
Cool.
They do some good work there, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So you're hilarious.
Thanks.
Yeah. So what got you interested in comedy?
I always liked comedy when I was even a little boy. I was just really into joke books, and I really liked David Letterman top 10 lists. They'd play them on the radio in the morning from the night before, or I'd buy the top 10 list books. So I always really liked jokes when I was little, and then when I was in high school and college, I really liked music too, so I sort of thought about maybe heading in that direction with my life. But then after doing some open mics and doing stand-up and stuff, I realized that was maybe a better path for me. So, yeah. I don't know if I answered your question.
No, sounds good. Sounds like you had to kind of a little bit of a trying this and trying a little bit of that, and then at that point decided kind of what you wanted to go for.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I sort of felt like in terms of having an opportunity to contribute something, I'd have a better chance in comedy than music based on what I gathered as a younger man. So, yeah.
Cool. So do you have do you have a favorite comedian?
It's really hard to say. I'm such a fan and there's of so many comedians, and there's so many different types of comedians out there that it's sort of hard for me to really list one. I could say like the last like some of the Netflix specials I've heard lately that I really liked are like Todd Barry's is really funny, and Tom Segura. Who else? Oh, John Mulaney's new special is so good. I'm a big fan of Norm Macdonald. But in general, I'm just like the hugest fan of stand-up and comedy. So it's really hard for me to like, list one person. I'm kind of always keeping up with what everyone's doing as best as I can.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So your show Alone Together is so funny. Do you have to do multiple takes of scenes because it's so hard not to crack up?
There are times where you do laugh, but usually because you're sort of practicing what's in the script, you don't start laughing that much. You generally will have to start over if we improvise a lot on the show or whenever we can, if we have the time or the scene lends itself to it. So usually the moments where you end up laughing are the improvised stuff where you don't really know what's coming and stuff like that. But just because we're laughing doesn't mean it's going to make the show or it's necessarily what's funniest. It just means we're laughing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have a favorite episode of Alone Together?
It's hard to say. I would say I got to write one of them last year, the one with Pauly Shore and Nikki Glazer. It's called Property Management, and it was really fun to get to work with Pauly and Nikki just because they're my friends. So that was really exciting. And then I really liked the episode where I made a music video because it sort of touched on something personal to me with liking ska music in high school, which was sort of like a big part of my identity when I was a teenager. Oh, yeah. So that was really interesting because when we were making the episode in my head, I was like, people are going to think this is crazy. No one knows what ska music is. But then after it came out, I felt like a lot of people reached out and talked about how they liked ska in high school or their relation with the music. And so at first it was something that felt very unique and obscure. But then when I heard everyone's feedback and that they identified with it and liked it too, that was pretty cool. So I like that one too.
Yeah, that's very cool. I'm a huge fan of ska music as well. So I grew up listening to a lot of ska bands. So tons of fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of us out there.
Yeah.
Cool. So how much of the show is based on yours and Esther Pavitsky's friendship?
Well, a lot of it. Sometimes we'll start with something that is very truthful and real in our lives, and then it'll evolve into something a little bigger or sillier that isn't necessarily exactly our lives. But at the core of it is, it's about our friendship, and sometimes we pull stuff from the past. Now that we're on a TV show, our lives are definitely different than where we started when we had this idea. So it's not all exactly our lives, but at the core of it is our friendship, and so it's based off real life, but it goes to not real life very often.
So it's kind of one of those like based on a true story type things.
I'd say inspired by a true story.
Inspired by a true story. Okay, so it kind of starts there, and then it kind of goes off and using writers doing what writers do, and kind of creating, kind of like modifying and creating new situations after starting with the basis.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes, it's exactly that.
Very cool.
Cool. Yeah. So how did you celebrate when you found out Alone Together was picked up by Freeform?
For the first time, or there's a lot of different phases. So first they decide to let you write a script, and then they decide to give you the pilot, which is the first episode, and then they gave us a first season, and then they gave us a second season. So there's been a lot of like celebrations along the way, but as you keep going, you get nervous. So after they get a script, you're worried they won't give you a pilot. After they give you the pilot, you worry, are you going to get a first season? So it's not always a celebration, but like you do acknowledge your victories. And then often, like after we got our second season, as excited as I am, I know it's going to be a lot of hard work. I think about what I can do to improve. How do we make the show better? How do we avoid mistakes maybe we made before? So even though you're appreciative and celebratory and excited, it is a lot of work, and you're under some pressure. So along with the celebration comes a lot of thinking about how you're going to actually do it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Is there a show that you're currently binge watching?
We just finished shooting and writing, and I've been so busy that I've literally not been watching anything because I'm so tired when I get home and I don't even want to think. But I just watched, what was that show on Netflix called? Crazy Genius? Is that what it was called? About the lady in
what was that one?
I can't remember. That was pretty scary. I think I might be getting the name wrong, but I watch a lot of stand-up on Netflix. I know I want to watch the Gary Shandling documentary. Everyone was talking about that, and I feel like that's something I've missed over the last few months of working really hard. I really like Children's Hospital. I've been watching some of those because I have that DVR, so I'll just watch those randomly. I love that show. Yeah. Saying a lot. That's too much. Unprofessional, Benji.
Yeah. Well, you got all kinds of different shows you got to keep track of, and trying to, like you said, you're keeping up on all the various different stand-up comedians and such, and that's a lot. There's a lot of really good stand-up comedians, so there's a lot of content there. So
yeah. I'm also a big Dodger fan, so I watch a lot of baseball because that's like easier to sort of watch passively. And sometimes I'm really tired and I can't get too invested in something new.
Yeah, that is very true. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite show of all time?
Favorite show of all time.
Or maybe a show that like you always like return to watch again. That'd be another way to say it, Maya.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like Family Guy a lot. I think Family Guy is something I can always rewatch over and over. South Park. I'd say those are my two favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I do love Children's Hospital. I love Louis' show on FX. I will rewatch that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but again, I'm just such a fan of so many things, and there's so much good stuff out there that you can enjoy and learn from.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So in the WWE, the wrestlers always have a song that plays when they make their grand entrance. If you could pick any song to announce your arrival, what song would you want to be playing?
I do stand-up comedy, so I often get to choose this. Because they'll ask you at a comedy club what you want your entrance song to be. So I actually switch it up a lot. I would say whatever I'm into that week because I can. But if I was a wrestler and had to commit to one song for a long period, I'd probably do like a Bruce Springsteen song just because that's like fun.
Nice.
I think he's got a song called it's off Darkness on the Edge of Town. Promised Land, I think it's called. I've done that for a stand-up gig before, and that one was fun.
Nice.
Cool.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
I like Ty Segall a lot, too. He's got fun, like, pump-you-up music, and if I ever use him as entrance music at a comedy show, I'm like, oh, now they're hearing something they never would have heard. So sometimes something a little more obscure makes me feel like I'm teaching people something new about music, which probably isn't the case, but that's a fun feeling, too.
Yeah, no, that's true. That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Do you have a motto or a quotation that you live by?
I do have this one sort of weird thing that I like, and I sort of pulled it from different places, but I sort of have 4 A's that I like to live by, and I think they work in order when you're dealing with any problem or situation. And so my 4 A's are acceptance, appreciation, attitude, and action in that order. So that's sort of like something if I'm ever having a problem, I'll sort of put something through that process and see how I come out of it.
That's a cool lens to kind of look through whatever you're working through at the moment in time.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
You got to accept what you're looking at. You got to appreciate what you got. You got to have a good attitude about it, and then you got to take action and decide what the best way to deal with it is.
Yeah.
So those are my 4 A's.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
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 Cool. So my last question for you is, who do you consider to be a real life superhero and why?
Wow, these are hard questions, Maya. I think there's probably a lot of heroes in like the medical field who do stuff for free or travel to countries where they don't have anything. So, yeah, I would probably say like the doctors and nurses who sort of have a more selfless approach to it. You know, I don't think. Not necessarily, but I'm sure there's some hero plastic surgeons out there. But I think there's a lot of people in the medical field who are really selfless in so many ways. So I think about them a lot because there's a lot of people out there who struggle internationally, locally. So yeah, probably people in the medical field.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, we definitely really appreciate all of our doctors and nurses here at Children's Hospital and all the awesome stuff they do here.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with you that there's a lot of those folks that travel internationally and work to donate their time and effort to help a lot of people. So it's really cool.
Yeah. They don't get always mentioned. So
that's true.
That's kind of where my head goes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true.
Especially when a doctor or a nurse or someone in that field can do something relatively small, like if they go to someone's house and just help them out, or like those things don't get written up all the time, and I'm sure I know a lot of them do a lot of the small things that no one ever hears about.
Yeah, but those small things make a huge difference in each person's life. So
absolutely, yeah. Of course, help is so important.
Yeah, it's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Good answer. Yeah. My mom just
I realized after I said it that I was like, oh my God, that's going to seem like pandering. They're at a hospital, but I swear I wasn't. I totally forgot where you guys were.
No, it's totally okay. I knew that's okay, and it's a cool thing to bring up because, like you said, a lot of time people don't think about all the folks that donate their time to travel and to help others, regardless of where it is, whether it be here in the U.S. or other countries, or there's people that do that all over the world. So it's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And it can be so thankless. Like, think about the people who have to work in like a mental institution or helping people there, where it's like the people you're helping can't even thank you because they're struggling so hard. So yeah, there's so many thankless jobs. So yeah, that's kind of where my head goes.
Yeah. No, that's very true. That's a good answer. Yeah.
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 Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for calling in, and I can't wait to see season 2 of Alone Together. And
well, thank you, Maya.
Yeah. Thank you for calling in. I've been so excited to talk to you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I got to.
Yeah. It's very much appreciated. Thank you so much, Benji.
Of course.
Yeah. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
You too. Bye.